It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
The question that I really want to discuss today, and I don't think that definitively there is a right answer, is Nebula worth leveling in 2022? The issue with Nebula is that she's a location-dependent hero. You got to put her next to the hero that you want her to boost, right? So, for example, my Kark team is this, and I'm just showing you this as an example because it's just, you know, this is Bob 1. This is the team that I'm most known for, I guess. I don't know if I'm really known for it anymore. So Nebula will simultaneously boost Kark and alternate to Faceless with her Equilibrium ability. Now, let's discuss her abilities real quick. Equilibrium is the ability that most people think about when you think of Nebula, and that's this ability right here. Basic attacks no longer do damage. Instead, there's a bouncing ball that goes back and forth between the two closest heroes, usually the one in front and behind, sometimes the two in front, sometimes the two behind, depending on what heroes you have in your team, that will increase the magic or physical attack. Increase the magic and physical attack of that hero by a large margin. All right. So Nebula is one of these heroes that can effectively level up your damage dealer to a higher tier of damage just by including her and putting her next to your damage dealer, right? Boosting 150 physical attack or 100% physical attack or 150 magic attack, excuse me. Incredible hero, incredible support hero, right? Not only does she boost the physical and magic attack of a hero, and we can use this on a tank, you can use this on a support, like a Jorgen or a Sebastian, even though she doesn't work with Sebastian, so scratch that, I just said that. But primarily you use her with damage dealers. Lars and Krista. I just showed you Kark and Faceless. A lot of people used to use her in the Blender team. Kira, Nebula, Sebastian, Jet, but they flip-flopped a little bit of positioning there, so it's not as effective. But she has other great abilities too. Her ultimate ability is a controllable projectile that will burn off the enemy's energy, so you can target it specifically. She also restores health and removes negative effects of the two allies that are getting the Equilibrium buff. Not at the same time as they're getting the Equilibrium buff. It is a separate ability. It's a separate skill that fires off. So she's one of a handful of heroes that can actually remove stuns, silences, blinds, charms, cursed flame, foxfire marks, water marks. Nebula does have the ability to remove those, right? I believe Nebula and Celeste are the two most prominent heroes that can remove these negative effects. So for that reason alone, the little bonus healing and the negative effect removal, she could be handy, right? And then of course, Disharmony is a single target attack, which kind of feels out of place with her. And I bet you that 90% of people, if not higher, that use Nebula don't even think about this ability at all ever, right? This is what you call an execute style of attack. It specifically targets the hero with the lowest health, which changes as the fight goes on. Is Nebula still usable when you compare her to other damage boosting heroes? The newest and most prominent that people seem to be using a lot nowadays is Fafnir. Now, Fafnir does not share the positioning requirement with Nebula, right? Nebula can only buff the two heroes, whereas Fafnir, specific to physical attack damage, right? Not magic attack damage, so there is that. But Fafnir targets the hero with, I believe, the highest agility, or prioritizes the hero with the highest agility. No, not the highest. It just prioritizes heroes with the agility main stat. So it could be either, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't really paid attention. So if you're a physical team, right? People used to use Nebula in Blender, and now you can't anymore because it goes Kira, Sebastian, and then Nebula. When Nebula was boosting Kira, it was significantly stronger of a team. Of course, KSJ is a bugged team anyway. So is Fafnir just a better choice to bring to physical agility-based attackers lineups? Because it doesn't matter where Fafnir's position is in your team, he's going to be effective. You have Isaac that increases physical attack for him and allies behind him. Okay, Isaac is another hero that, while he is similarly position dependent, if you build your Way of Progress team the right way, this buff is not nearly as strong as Nebula's buff, but it isn't as specific. It's not as locked in as far as requirements. And you do get the bonus for armor penetration for those wave progress heroes as well. And we have the shield and all of that. So a couple of heroes that have been added to the game, increasing physical attack output. We have a couple of mage bonus damage to mage heroes too. Here we go. So Zisha will give bonus attack power, magic attack power, to her allies. So the point that I'm trying to make is there are other options aside from Nebula. So if you're thinking about Nebula, if you're thinking about should you summon, unlock, you should definitely unlock Nebula. You should definitely get her summoned. Get her to 2nd or 3rd star at least, I guess, just to try her out. But if she doesn't line up properly with your team, you know, whatever that team ends up looking like, you know, again, I'm just kind of throwing this together just to show. If she doesn't line up properly with your team, then there are other options. Fafnir and Isaac. Kind of use Corvus. Kind of use Dante, right? Well, that's increasing dodge, and then it does the retribution. Yeah, so it doesn't really directly buff your allies. So it's going to be team dependent. It's going to be, the answer, should you use Nebula in 2022, is going to be team dependent. Zol says, you will always need Celeste, Jorgen, Faceless, or Nebula. Always worth it to level up. They're safe choices to level up. But at the same time, Zol, if Nebula doesn't fit in your lineup, then why waste the resources? The reason why Kark is so successful against Satori teams is because Nebula removes those Foxfire marks. Nebula can fit in twins. She fits between Lars and Krista. Absolutely. If you're building a twins team. This is another very popular lineup. You've got tank with Lars and Krista, right? Your choice of tank, whatever tank you want to use.